Hello there. It is the 14th day of March 2020. You're watching NTV at ONE. My name is Ismail. We have all the stories making headlines across the country and beyond. And a day after Kenya confirmed the first case of the coronavirus, the Ministry of Health officials are expected to fumigate an area that is believed to have been the residential place of the individual who has been confirmed to have the disease. Leila Mohammed is in Ongata Rongai following up on that and is joining us live with more details. Leila, what have you been able to establish so far?
Well, most of what is happening here is happening behind these closed doors at this facility. Maybe we can just take a look at what is happening. We were expecting Kajiado Governor Joseph Olalenku, who's probably one of the many of these who are arriving here. He was expected to come here to inspect a mobile unit for inspection of the coronavirus symptoms within this area code. There have been meetings between the Kajiado County government and the national government of this country. The CS, the CEC for Health from Kajiado County was at the Ministry of Health headquarters earlier in the day. So the information that we have as we speak is that there have been several officials who are inside. There have been several meetings, but the most important thing would be to ensure that there are enough chemicals or insecticides to ensure that the place where this particular individual who resided within the vicinity of this area there can be enough to ensure that the home is maybe just kept clean, because there has been sort of a panic ever since reports probably that young girl lived within this area. Remember, the African Nazarene University is just a few meters away from here, and it is one of the institutions of higher learning that have suspended their classes until this issue has been contained within this area code. So the most important bit here was we were waiting for the Kajiado governor as well as other officers from the national government who will be in a meeting here. As it now, what we are being told is that this will now be the inspection center for this county, this particular area. This is because the first case that has been announced in the country is said to have begun from here. That person was a resident of this particular area, and so a battery of journalists have been gathered out here for the better part of the morning, waiting for clear details or directions on what to do next. We know that Kenya was the first African country, followed by Ethiopia, and then again we hear Namibia. A couple from Spain has been given a confirmation that they are suffering from coronavirus. Since 48 hours ago, the WHO has considered that it is now a pandemic. So that is why we are seeing a lot of attraction from international press also here in this particular afternoon. The government says now that at 5 o'clock they will be able to give us more details as to what is happening in terms of awareness. Are there any new cases? They had planned a drill that was expected to happen on Sunday. Will that go on as planned, or what next for Kenyans? Yesterday, the main point of authority they were looking into was the public transport sector, and they were urging all matatus and buses and the rail users to ensure that they have sanitizers on hand so that to avoid or to contain further containment of this particular virus that has ravaged various parts of the world. We are at 100,000+ infections from this particular virus that scientists are currently doing all their level best to ensure they have either something that can suppress it. But at the moment, Kenya has just only that one person. Maybe later in the day we'll be able to get more details, but as at now, nothing much to report back. These meetings have been going on, and until they come to address the situation, we might not be in a position to give you more detail. However, there have been some concerns by residents of this area. What next for them? How do they protect themselves? How do they know the signs and symptoms, which according to them, they say can never be enough information for government to come out clearly and tell them this is how to behave and this is what to do. Something with which the CS of Health yesterday was saying self-containment is one of the ways of actually suppressing the further breakout of this virus that has hit many parts of the world, including Europe, which is now the epicenter of the disease.
All right, Leila Mohammed there at Ongata Rangai. Of course, we'll be joining Leila just later on to get more details of that. And of course, a lot of focus there with regards to the coronavirus, because patient 0 from Kenya is believed to have been the residential place of the patient 0 there. Now, as Kenyans engage in the panic buying and hand sanitizers, there's still a lot that we're going to be taking a look at, including the transport crisis as well. And not really a crisis, but the fact that, transport sector actors have been told to ensure that they're able to sanitize commuters. We'll be joining Silas Apollo in just a moment for that. But before that, the confirmed COVID-19 case in the country continues to have a far-reaching effects, with different services and activities being disrupted as precaution measures are undertaken. African Nazarene University has suspended on-campus learning in its main and Nairobi campuses. In a letter, the Institution of Higher Learning asked its students to exercise caution amid fears of COVID-19 spread. Churches and mosques across the country have also come up with drastic measures to stem the spread of the disease.
On Friday, the Ministry of Health confirmed the first coronavirus case in the country, prompting the nation to put its emergency preparedness plan to the test. The Ministry of Education has asked the Teachers Service Commission to direct schools to ensure that learners do not engage in any physical contact, sensitize institutions to maintain good respiratory hygiene, suspend all gatherings such as inter-school events, AGMs, visiting days, Thanksgiving, and prize-giving ceremonies. Schools have also been directed to ensure that all school transport vehicles thoroughly cleaned regularly. The African Nazarene University has ordered students to leave the university until further notice. After careful analysis of the situation, the university has taken a cautionary decision to suspend on-campus classes effective Monday, March 16th, the institution said in a statement. Further, the learners were asked to vacate premises between Saturday, March 14th and March 16th. They were advised to observe the necessary precautions throughout the untimely recess as they await the communication about their return. Thereafter, only authorized personnel will be allowed into the varsity. Distance learning classes will, however, continue as scheduled. The Lavington Seventh-day Adventist Elders Council has also sent an advisory to its members. In a statement, the Elders Council has advised its members to attend church, but on voluntary basis. The statement further says that members are free to worship from their homes as the service will be streamlined online at Lavington SDA Church YouTube channel. This will help reduce the number of members attending church service to help reduce crowds. The Catholic Church too has also come up with measures to stem the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Starting from tomorrow, the sign of peace will be omitted, holy water at the entrance has been removed, and the Holy Communion will be by hand and not tongue. The church has also requested those who exhibit flu-like symptoms to avoid going to Mass. Before entering Mass, faithful will be required to use sanitizers.
As mentioned,
Muslim leaders are expected to meet on Monday to come up with measures on how to contain the spread of the virus in mosques, especially during times of prayer.
it's very important that you should follow the guidelines that were given by the people in this field of medicine. If you're told to wash your hands with a soap. If you're told to keep distance from people, keep distance from people. And this is the guidelines of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He taught us that whenever you hear that there is a plague somewhere, don't go. If you're outside of that area, you're not supposed to go in. And if you're inside that area, you're not supposed to go out. Lakini usiseme uongo, usiseme boss leo mimi nasikia na mafua labda ni coronavirus. Let us not do that.
The government has suspended all public gatherings in the country for a period of 1 month. No civilians will be allowed to visit prisons for the next 30 days. Inter-schools gatherings for any purpose and public functions have all been suspended until the COVID-19 situation is contained. Rozongoi, NTV.
Now, persons seeking services at JM Kariuki Memorial and other hospitals across Nyandarua County will have to be screened for the coronavirus before visitation of patients in the wards following restrictions implemented to avert further spread of the virus. Nyandarua's County Emergency Response Technical Committee confirmed that the hospital's isolation wards were well prepared to screen, diagnose and quarantine cases of COVID-19. Samuel Maura, head of the technical team, said the medics at the hospital were on the lookout for any symptoms by checking people's temperatures at walk-ins and isolating any fever cases before the visitors are cleared of the COVID-19. Maura further noted that there was need for screening since the virus posed similar symptoms as other respiratory diseases common in the area. County officials have urged residents to practice caution and hygiene while pledging the county's support for the residents and in efforts to prevent the virus from getting into the county.
Crowded areas and make sure that 5, then here, and then
we're asking our partners, media partners, to disseminate that number and the health messages to the public, not to panic, but to be prepared. We're asking them that this is a time to obey healthy orders, to wash our hands with soap and water, to keep a distance about 1 meter. And when we are told not to gather, for example, the church may be told before people enter, they wash their hands with hand sanitizer. We're asking the opinion leaders, the church leaders, the school heads, and of course the politicians to all cooperate. Let's all keep safe for our people.
Well, the Nakuru Level 5 hospital says it is ready to receive patients suffering from the coronavirus following Friday's first case of the corona reported in the country. The Ministry of Health had given a 2-day deadline for the county hospitals to prepare their isolation wards, and in Nakuru County, the governor toured the facility to assess the preparedness of the public hospital, where more than 200 health workers have been trained on handling COVID-19 cases in Nakuru with sufficient personal protective equipment for the health workers. The isolation ward can accommodate 32 patients.
I wish to reiterate that the county government of Nakuru has put in place measures to handle cases or suspected cases of coronavirus as and when they happen. We have an isolation ward, trained medical staff, and also we have bought preventive gear to ensure that we also don't expose our medical staff. It is also worth noting that 2 weeks ago, we also called all our hotel operators and sensitized them on measures they should take to ensure that the visitors who come to our hotels do not also expose our hotels and therefore bring more risk. We have 2 emergency numbers that the public can reach us in case of any suspected cases, and the numbers are 0724 320 853, and the alternative number is 0722 337 018.
Well, and as Kenyans engage in panic buying and hand sanitizers flying off the shelves, public transport operators say implementing the government directive to provide sanitizers on board is not that simple and will need a lot of support in order to make it work. Our Silas Apollo is out to see how far they have gone with implementing the directive. Silas, I know you are at the Kencom stage at the Central Business District here in Nairobi. What can you tell us with regards to implementing this directive?
Zainab, we're here at Kencom bus station, and we had expected a lot of, given the announcement that was made by Transport CS yesterday and also Health CS Mutahi Kagwe yesterday and his transport counterpart James Macharia on the measures the government was taking to ensure that the public, of course, is protected from the coronavirus. One of the measures that was made yesterday was that public transport system was going to be organized in such a way that those who are using the public transport system are healthier and they are safe from the coronavirus. The measure therefore was that members, of course, owners of the public transport system were supposed to have hand sanitizers and that's what they're going to be able to give to passengers who are boarding vehicles to ensure that they mitigate and they reduce the risks of what is happening right now in the country and across the world. But we've been here at the Kencom bus station for quite a while right now. We've been here for around 20 minutes, and what we've been experiencing so far is that that measure is still not being enforced here at the Kencom bus station. Just maybe if the camera person could zoom in into the way people are getting into the matatus and the buses right now. Not a lot is quite happening. People are just getting into the matatus, they're getting into the buses without having been given hand sanitizers, which is quite perplexing and interesting. We don't know how what has been done so far and what exactly is going to be done going forward. Was this directive passed down to the users of the road? Was it passed down to owners of matatus and buses right here at the Kencom petrol station? We've been able to speak to a number of passengers here off record. Some of them don't want to be mentioned. They don't want to speak to us on record on camera, and they're saying they have not been able to experience that thing being implemented. They'll not be able to give them the hand sanitizers as that been recommended. Right now I'm joined by one of the people who've been lining here to queuing here to get on board matatu, just to tell me his experiences and tell us and share with us his experiences. So welcome to NTV AT ONE. Kwanza kabisa, tell us your name and have you been able to, what is your experience in using the public transport? Have you been given the hand sanitizers as you get in, and if you've not been given, what are the explanations that have been given to you?
So far I've traveled using the public means, and I've not really come across any vehicle that uses a sanitizer. And I've also been looking for one of the sanitizers in the chemist here in the city. I've not got any because we are operating in a primary institution whereby we need one in order to equip even our school to be prepared with the terror that we are facing of coronavirus. And
have the matatu guys given you explanations? Have you probably asked why they don't have hand sanitizers despite the government telling them to have the sanitizers?
So far they are also saying that the sanitizers are not there in the shops. So they are requesting the government to at least supply some into the shops so that they may get access to them.
Thank you very much. Zainab, that's one of the passengers who've been trying to get into one of the matatus here to go to his destination, and just as they've said, not much has been done in terms of enforcing that directive that was given by the government. We're looking forward into going into, of course, trying to delve into this matter further to understand what exactly is happening. But so far, the situation here is that nobody's been given the hand sanitizers as they get into the matatu. We just don't know what exactly is the reason behind that. Yesterday, as you can remember, there was quite a bit of a rush in terms of people going for the last minute shopping, the panic in terms of the purchases of hand sanitizers and the likes in supermarkets. So just as he said, the concern here is that some are arguing that they're not being able to get these things in shops. So we'll be keeping tab just to let you know what goes forward. But so far, the situation right now is not as interesting as we'd expected it to be. Back to you, Zainab.
All right, thanks Silas Apollo there in the Central Business District. Of course, a developing story. Will continue to keep our eyes traded on that. And as the coronavirus pandemic continues to cause ripples across the country and the world at large, the Seventh-day Adventist Church has advised all the members of the congregation to consider worshipping from home as a precaution against the virus. Helen Aura is currently attending a church service here in Nairobi and is joining us live with more details. Helen, how has the church prepared worshippers to combat the spread of the virus, considering the fact that most services brings a mass of people together with very close proximity?
Well, Zainab, the interesting thing is that despite the warning or being told to tune into the service online, there was a very large congregation that came here at the New Life SDA Church. And one of the things that greeted each and every one as they walked into this sanctuary, there were sanitizers at all entry points in the sanctuary, and ensuring that the congregation sanitize themselves as they're walking into the service and sanitize themselves also as they're walking out of the service. The other thing also that was very evident was the children were very keen also. They were taught how to sanitize their hands and just being taught the importance of sanitizing themselves. And this also comes following the directive by the health CS, that Mutahi Kagwe, that he mentioned yesterday that churches should ensure that they take safety measures to ensure that their congregations are safe in this wake of this period of the outbreak of the coronavirus. I'm joined by the senior pastor, Pastor Dixon Katei, who will even give us more information, just telling us what, as a church, what measures, what more have they done to ensure that their congregation is safe and secure. Pastor Dixon, welcome.
Yes,
maybe can you just tell us, other than sanitizers, had you sensitized your congregation prior to this?
Okay, yes, every other Sabbath we've been sensitizing our members. Normally there's a health clip that goes through every other Sabbath, and the members always get to listen, and at times we also organize with doctors who come and talk to our members, who can tell them exactly what this coronavirus is and how they can also take care of themselves.
And we've seen sanitizers on all entry points of the sanctuary. Other than sanitizers, do we have running water, soap in the washrooms? What else have you put in place to ensure that, you know what, your congregation feels safe and secure?
Yeah, truly, we have sanitizers. We also have soap in our washrooms that the members can be able to use. We also have requested them that they should also take care of themselves, that they should not just hug anyhow and kiss and greet each other with their hands, that they should be able to greet each other in a manner that probably may not be able to contaminate anyone in case anyone is infected. Yes.
And just as much as you said not to hug or kiss anyone, we know normally on during after service, that's normally the order of the day. But today, the fact that we've seen it was a music Sabbath, it was a musical Sabbath, and we saw congregations from different churches who had come in to just worship with you guys. Do you think you did, and you took up to the task, you were up to the task to ensure that everyone here was safe today?
Yeah, as a church we are up to the task, and actually that's why we had to organize for the sanitizers, that's why we had to organize for running water, that's why we had to organize for the soaps, so that any member who comes in, they are safe and secure. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it, Zainab. Majority, as we can see, the children, we can see the congregants also eating. They've all sanitized themselves, and also moving forward, the church will also carry out more programs to ensure that the congregation can be able to be sensitized more on what the coronavirus is. Back to you, studio.
All right, Helen Aura there. Now, internationally, US President Donald Trump has announced Sunday, March 15th, a national day of prayer, moments after declaring a state of emergency in that country over the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. The US had earlier in the week banned all flights from Europe, which has been declared the newest epicenter of the pandemic. Saudi Arabia is also contemplating suspending all international flights as places of worship in Europe consider not having faithful in church halls to contain further spread of the virus.
The latest figures show that the United States currently has 2,329 reported cases of COVID-19 infections, with 50 deaths being reported and 41 recoveries. The government says there is setting aside $40 billion as relief funds for local authorities. US President Donald Trump declared it a national emergency in what critics say was a long-delayed admission of the gravity of the coronavirus crisis that has triggered the shutdown of schools, sporting events, offices and travel in the world's richest country.
To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency.
After the announcement, a massive stock market sell-off followed, whereas Friday's performance saw the Dow Jones rising sharply while Trump spoke. But Trump once more insisted that the U.S. response has been faultless, brushing off fierce criticism over his persistence in downplaying the coronavirus danger and the slow rollout of testing for the virus.
Trump surprised reporters by reversing his insistence on not needing to be tested for coronavirus or going into self-quarantine following his contact with numerous politicians who since have taken the precautionary measure. He has, however, urged all Americans to be aware of the telltale signs and pray for their nation this Sunday. On the other side of the world, Saudi Arabia said Saturday it would suspend international flights for 2 weeks in response to the coronavirus outbreak. In a tweet, the Saudi Foreign Ministry said that the kingdom's government decided to suspend international flights starting from Sunday, March 15th, as part of its efforts to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Saudi Arabia has recorded 86 cases of the virus so far, but no deaths, according to the health ministry. The kingdom had already halted flights to some countries and closed schools and universities as part of measures to contain the disease. Authorities have also suspended the Umrah, year-round pilgrimage to the Muslim holy cities of Mecca and Medina for fear of the virus spreading. In Europe, where WHO is now shifting its focus as the epicenter of the COVID-19, passengers were stranded at almost empty waiting halls in airports. In Italy, streets remain empty whilst the church is now considering streaming messages in time of prayer to avoid further spread of the virus.
All right, and let's take another short break here on NTV at 1. When we come back, we'll bring you much more.
Hanging out, it's my summer, got my squad, we go harder, we got a little bit of feel good now. Let's have a little bit of
New Blue Band Peanut Butter. Made with 100% pure peanuts and a good source of omega-6. Grow healthy and happy kids with New Blue Band Peanut Butter.
For as low as 80,000 Kenyan shillings rent to own, 6-year payment plan with 0% interest, get yourself a 3 and 4 bedroom apartment in South Sea, Rumi Road. This is Rama Heights Apartments by Rama Homes Limited, luxurious stylish apartments with world-class amenities. Join us on Saturday, 14th March at Boma Hotel in South Sea for the launch of these exemplary apartments from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, call us on the number 0709 658 000. Rama Homes Limited, bringing luxury home.
All right, thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV at 1. Now, DCI detectives based at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport have arrested a Kenyan pilot working for a local aviation company in connection with investigations into the Rashid Echesa 39 billion fake arms deal. Subo Mohammed Ahmed was intercepted by detectives after a stop order was issued by the DCI headquarters along Kiambu Road. Ahmed is seen in one of the pictures that have been making rounds where ex-sports CS Rashid Echesa was sampling military equipment in Poland. Mohammed is alleged to have been present in Poland so as to operate the drones. He is said to be a close relative of Rukia Ahmed Subo, the Kenyan ambassador to Iran. Investigations are ongoing. And 2 people, including a night guard, have been arrested in connection to an attempted robbery at KCB Bank in Kakamega branch. Police say one of the suspects was found inside the bank when it opened this morning after breaking it through the roof on the ATM side of the bank. No cash was found stolen, but the man was found in possession of a few items from the bank. The night guard was arrested because he was allegedly away from his workstation at the time of the break-in. The first suspect will undergo a psychiatric evaluation before being charged.
Yuko mtu ambaye aligain entry kutoka kwa ATM akapitia kwa roof akaingia mpaka nyuma ya KCB huko nyuma. Jina lake anaitwa Joshua Nabakusi Munai ambaye ni 23 years old na ni mtu ya hii town. Tulikuta kwamba amevandalize huko nyuma, ile vitu yote ilikuwa huko yote kama stima, security alarm amevandalize, na hiyo betri akatoa ikaweka chini, lakini lucky enough ni ya kwamba hakuna kitu ambaye imeumbiwa ndani. Strong room iko intact na tumeweza kudhibitisha kwamba hakuna kabaya kitu kimeingia.
And tension remains high in Sessi in Moyale town after the burial of 5 Kenyans who were shot dead by the suspected Ethiopian Federal Army. Kenyan authorities maintain that the border incursions will only be solved through diplomacy and involvement of local leaders from both Ethiopia and Kenya. Residents, however, accuse the government of laxity in dealing with the issue head-on. Ethiopia on most occasions has defended its actions by accusing the Kenyan government of harboring militia groups along the border. Security officers have been seen patrolling key roads and streets in Moyale town in the wake of the shooting. Moyale reports.
The latest victims who were killed while asleep in their homes, 2 men and 3 women, are part of a growing list of Kenyans killed through foreign incursions, and Kenyan authorities have often been accused for failing to pursue for justice for the victims. Last year, Ethiopian militants killed at least 23 Kenyans in northern sub-county, particularly in Forole along the Kenya-Ethiopian border.
Things have not been that serious, but now they are getting out of hand when every other time we are losing people. So I think there needs to be, these are friendly nations, and small things which keep recurring, some irritants, must not, risk our people's lives.
Mahali ambapo tuko tumepata hakikisho kutoka kwa viongozi wetu kuwa watashirikiana na serikali kuu kuona kuwa hali ya usalama, hali ya kawaida inarejelea katika muda mfupi.
Although Kenyan government has not come out to deny allegations of harboring Ethiopian militia, it insists that Ethiopian security forces must follow protocol in arresting criminals on Kenyan soils. Residents now want the Kenyan government to take full charge of the area as tensions escalate along the border.
Kutoka hivi tukaona gari ya jeshi ya Kenya imekuja, serikali ya Kenya ya polisi AP walikuwa patrol town mzima usiku nzima. Lakini sehemu yenye ilikuwa na vitisho yenye ilikuwa inaogopewa ni upande hii. Upande hii iliachiwa serikali nyingine ya Sessi ilikuwa anda serikali nyingine, na Kenya serikali yetu ilikuwa imebaki upande ya town na upande zingine.
Local administrators, however, have denied claims of laxity to root out the issue. The administrators maintain that this is a diplomatic issue that should involve both Nairobi and Addis Ababa. Moyale, NTV, Marsabit.
Well, the coronavirus pandemic wiped out most of the world's major sporting events in an unprecedented 24 hours. World record holder Eliud Kipchoge will have to wait until October to defend his London Marathon title after it was pushed from its original April date. England's men's cricket test tour My name is Ismail. Do enjoy the rest of your day.